If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. And most people don't realize how quietly this rule is shaping their entire life. Not through obvious moments, but in the subtle ones: the hesitation before speaking, the overthinking after a conversation, the need for approval in relationships, and the silent weight of loneliness that no one else seems to notice. In today's video, we're going to break something uncomfortable but necessary. You're not weak, you were just never taught how emotional patterns actually work. We'll explore how emotional reactions influence your personality traits, your habits, and even the way you connect with others in social environments. And more importantly, why people who seem mentally strong are not emotionless. They are simply aware of what controls them and what doesn't. Stay until the end, because once you understand the structure, the way you see yourself and others will not stay the same. If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. And the weird part is, this doesn't show up like a dramatic moment in life. It shows up in the smallest, most normal situations you wouldn't even question. Like when you send a simple message and see it left on read. Nothing big, right? But suddenly your focus shifts. You're checking your phone more than usual, replaying the last conversation, thinking about tone, timing, emojis, things that didn't even matter 5 minutes ago. And what makes this dangerous isn't the message itself. It's how fast your emotional state starts reacting to something that might not even be real. Your mind fills in the gaps without asking you first. And in that gap, control starts slipping away. Because now your mood isn't based on what's happening in front of you. It's based on what you think is happening behind it. And here's where it gets subtle. Most people don't notice how quickly this turns into behavior. You stop acting naturally. You start adjusting yourself without realizing it. You wait longer before replying, not because you want to, but because you're trying to balance the energy. You hold back what you want to say, just in case it changes how someone sees you. You even change your tone depending on who you're talking to. And none of this feels dramatic in the moment. Feels normal. That's the part that makes it so powerful. Because emotional reactions don't just stay inside your head. They start shaping how you move in social situations. And over time, you don't even notice you're no longer responding freely. You're reacting carefully. But there's something deeper underneath this that most people never connect. It's not really about the message or the silence or the delay. It's about what your mind believes silence means. For some people, silence is neutral. For others, it feels like distance, rejection, disconnection. And once your brain starts attaching meaning like that, even the smallest social moment can feel heavier than it actually is. And that's when something strange starts happening. Because the more you react emotionally to small things, the more your brain starts treating them like threats that need to be solved. So now you're not just living conversations anymore. You're analyzing them while they're still happening. And this is where it quietly connects to something most people struggle with every day without even realizing it. The strange thing is, loneliness today doesn't always look like someone sitting alone in an empty room. It shows up in places where people are actually surrounded by others. Like being in a group chat that's always active, but you barely feel like you belong in it. Or walking through a crowded place where everyone seems connected to someone else, while you're just there, observing. And what makes this even more confusing is that nothing is technically wrong. You're not excluded in an obvious way. Nobody is rejecting you directly, but still, something feels off in how connected you actually are to people. This is where most people start misunderstanding their own experience. Because the mind doesn't register loneliness only as no people around. It registers it as lack of emotional alignment. You can talk to 10 people a day, exchange messages, laugh at something for a moment, and still feel like you're not really landing anywhere socially. And over time, that creates a quiet shift. You stop initiating conversations as much, not because you don't want to, but because it starts feeling like effort without return. You start second-guessing how much to share. You begin filtering your personality depending on the situation, like you're constantly adjusting a version of yourself just to fit better. But here's the part nobody really talks about. That adjustment doesn't always bring connection. Sometimes it does the opposite. Because when you constantly reshape how you show up, people might still interact with you, but they're not interacting with the full version of you. And deep down, your mind notices that gap. So you start feeling something strange, like you're present in conversations, but not fully in them. And this is where the cycle gets tricky. The more disconnected you feel, the more your brain starts scanning interactions for meaning. A delayed reply doesn't feel neutral anymore. A short answer feels heavier than it should. Even casual interactions start carrying emotional weight they were never meant to hold. It's almost like your mind starts turning every small social moment into a signal. Something to decode, something to interpret, something to be careful with. And without noticing, social life stops being something you simply experience and starts becoming something you analyze while it's happening. But there's another layer underneath this that most people miss completely. And it connects directly to how relationships start to feel unstable, even when nothing obvious is going wrong. The real shift happens when this starts touching relationships. Because at first, everything looks normal on the surface. You're talking, replying, laughing at small things, sharing parts of your day. Nothing seems unstable. But underneath that, there's a quiet tension building that most people can't explain. It usually starts with something small. A message that feels slightly different. Not cold, just not the same tone you expected. And suddenly, your mind starts filling in the blanks again. Not because something happened, but because your brain is already trained to look for meaning in everything. And in relationships, that becomes powerful fast. One person might think they're just busy. The other starts analyzing distance. One person is moving normally through their day. The other is replaying conversations, wondering if something shifted, trying to decode emotional signals that were never clearly sent. And what's tricky here is that neither side is fully aware of the tension building. Because emotional instability in relationships rarely starts as conflict. It starts as interpretation. Tiny assumptions stacking on top of each other until even normal silence starts feeling like distance. And when that happens, behavior starts changing without anyone pointing it out. You don't say things as directly anymore. You start holding back reactions. You measure your words more carefully. Not because you want to, but because you're trying to avoid creating wrong impressions or triggering emotional distance. And the other person might be doing the same thing without even realizing it. So what you get is two people interacting, but both slightly filtered, both slightly cautious, both trying to manage something that was never clearly defined in the first place. And that's where relationships start feeling unstable, even when there's no real conflict. Because emotional control isn't just about staying calm. It's about how much of your internal reaction you let shape your external behavior. And when that balance is off, even good connections start feeling unpredictable. One moment everything feels close, the next moment it feels distant. Not because something changed externally, but because the emotional interpretation keeps shifting internally. And that's where most people get stuck without realizing it. Because they start reacting to the emotional patterns instead of the actual relationship in front of them. And maybe the hardest part of all this is realizing that most of what feels out of control in your life isn't coming from other people. It's coming from how quickly your emotions assign meaning to things that were never fully explained. A delayed reply, quiet moment, a different tone, a small change in behavior. None of these things are powerful on their own. But the moment your mind starts attaching stories to them, they stop being small. They become signals. And once everything becomes a signal, you stop living experiences as they are and start living inside interpretations. But here's the part worth holding on to. Emotional reactions aren't the enemy. They're just fast. Too fast sometimes. And when they run unchecked, they don't show reality, they distort it. So the real shift isn't about shutting emotions down. It's about noticing when they start speaking louder than the situation itself. Because when you can separate what's happening from what you think it means, something changes. Conversations feel lighter. Relationships feel less unpredictable. Even silence stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like just silence again. And that's where control quietly comes back. Not over other people, but over how much power a single moment is allowed to have over your mind. If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. If something in your result felt unusually accurate, or even a little uncomfortable, don't brush it off. That reaction matters. In behavioral psychology, The moments that hit emotionally are often pointing directly at patterns you've learned to live with, not question. The way you make decisions without thinking. The emotions you push down just to keep things moving. The same roles you keep falling into in relationships, work, or even in silence when you're alone. None of that is random. It follows a structure. And once you start seeing that structure clearly, something subtle but important shifts. You stop reacting on autopilot and start recognizing what's actually driving your behavior before it fully takes over. That's why self-awareness isn't just something abstract or philosophical. It's practical. The more clearly you understand your own emotional and behavioral patterns, the less they quietly control your choices in the background. So after this video ends, don't just move on. Pause for a moment and notice what stayed with you. Not what sounded good, but what felt a little too familiar. Because surface-level understanding fades fast. But when awareness connects with what you actually recognize in yourself, it doesn't just stay in your mind. It starts changing how you respond, how you choose, and how you move through situations that used to control you automatically. And this is just one layer of it. The deeper you go into your own patterns, the more clearly you start seeing the invisible structure behind your behavior. And that's where real change quietly begins. If this video made sense to you, or even made you question something about your own behavior, don't just leave it here. Subscribe to the channel because we go deeper into human psychology, emotional patterns, relationships, and the hidden habits that quietly shape your decisions every day. Leave a like if you want more content like this. It helps push these topics to more people who actually need them. Comment below. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 3. No overthinking. Just choose one. Let's see how many people actually make it to the end of the video. And if this topic hit you in a specific way, there's another video right here on the screen and a full playlist on behavioral psychology waiting for you. Both go even deeper into these patterns you just saw today. Most people don't realize it. But understanding yourself is not a one-time thing. It's a process.